Jai Gurudev. Jai Masters. There are so many teachings. When it all comes down to it, if you cut through everything, it's all about consciousness. It's all about consciousness. You can take all the words, all the teachings, all the names for God, everything. It just comes down to consciousness. What is consciousness? Where did it come from? How does it have this magic power of self-awareness? You know that you're there. Nobody has to teach you that. It's not learning in your mind. You are there. You are aware. That's it. That's everything. There is no other practice. There's nothing else to learn. It's called just being. That's the bottom of Zen. Just being. What do you mean just being? Just being who you are. The one who's there. I am here. I am aware that I'm here. How do you know that you know? Because I am that I am. So God answered it when Moses asked him, what's your name? I am that I am. That's consciousness talking. The piano does not know that it is. Your shirt doesn't know that it is. Your hand doesn't know that it is. But you know that you are, don't you? I ask a very simple question. It's the bottom of all spirituality. Hi, you in there? Hi, you in there? It doesn't matter if you've meditated for 30 years or you've never even heard the word meditation. If I look you in the eyes and say, hi, are you in there? Everyone says, yep. That's the bottom line. That's everything. That's why people say spirituality takes so long and it's so hard. No, it's as hard as saying, yes, I'm in there. You are conscious. You are aware. You're a self-aware being. That's easy. You're already that. Then what's the problem? If that's true, and I'm going to go to the end of the talk in the beginning now, just, you don't have to believe me, you just listen to me. You will find out someday, if you go deep enough, that consciousness is what they mean by God. That when God said, the Bible says, I was in the beginning before all else is created, and I will be in the end after all else falls away. I am that which is. That's awareness of being is the source of the universe. Your consciousness is something very, very special. When it says in the Bible, man was created in the image of God, please don't give God 2 arms and 2 legs and long hair. Don't do that. That's saying God was created in the image of man. It didn't say that. It said man is created in the image of God. It's talking about your consciousness. You are aware. You're a self-aware being. You are aware that you are aware. That's what was in the beginning. That which was aware that it was aware that it existed. And out of that, all else was created. And someday, you will come to see that. What's fascinating in the age you live in is if I said that to you 1,000 years ago, you'd look at me like, I guess I got to believe him or not. It'd all be about belief or not. But you sent your scientists out there. For thousands and thousands of years, you sent the most brilliant people in all of your cultures, didn't you? Out there to say, what's out there? What's out there? What is a tambourine? What is a floor? What is the sky? What is out there? And so far, what they've come back to tell you is the most amazing thing, but not amazing to one who understands what I just said. In fact, they're not quite done yet, but they're very close. They came back and said, it's not what it seems to be, Aristotle. I mean, I know you're trying to figure this stuff out, but it's not even there like you see it. It's really, there's these elemental particles, they called atoms. That's as far down as they went. It's just these dots, these little dots that are put together, and they're put together in ways that they look like this. That's what the scientists came back and said, didn't they? That it's all atoms. And then they figured out how many types of atoms there were. There are not that many types of atoms. Right? I think that the periodic table, did you know that? I know you go to chemistry and you freak when you see the periodic table. They should start it much more gentle. They should say it the way I just said. They went there and said it's all made of these atoms. Well, how many types of atoms does it take to make the whole universe? They're not talking about what's in this room. They're talking about the galaxies and the quasars and everything are all made of the same atoms. Well, how many types? That's what your periodic table is. Well, that's not that many. I think who knows, 100 natural, whatever it is, but it's not a big number. And that's how many types of atoms there are. And you just, like a Tinker Toy set, put a bunch of Legos together and you make the world. You can understand that. They're all made out of these basic pieces. Okay, there we are. Thank you, scientists. Goodbye. They said, no goodbye. What are the atoms made of? What do you mean? They are what are called elemental particles. That means they're not made of anything. They are what the universe is made of. They're God. They're the beginning. That's all. It was made of that. Well, that's not what they found out, did they? They went down further and looked in there and said, well, it's not really made of atoms. It's made of electrons, neutrons, and protons. Wow, that was a great breakthrough, that the atoms really are not the elemental particle, that the electron, neutrons, and protons. See, like it's science class. It doesn't have anything to do with belief. It has to do with understanding truth. And the truth is, we're now down to electrons, neutrons, and protons. I don't know what year we were in, late 1800s, who the heck knows, when we were at that level, probably even before that. But fine, so that's it. Those are the elemental particles. So now we don't have to have the periodic table. I don't have to memorize, 97 or 103 types of atoms. I just, electron, neutron, proton, right? There we are. That's all there is. That's what they said. That's all there is. Okay, well, that's easy. All right, then they came back, these quantum guys and gals, and they came back and said, well, in fact, even before the quantum, or around the same time, Einstein had something to say about it. And that's when you really come down to what I'm talking about, why that belongs in this temple, the discussion. Einstein said, well, you think there's electrons, neutrons, and protons, and those are the basis of all matter, but the truth of the matter is there is no matter. You believe there's matter, and then there's energy that moves it. There's not. What you see as matter is just a temporary state of energy, and that there's really nothing there that's physical. Nothing. There is no physical world. There's just energy. Energy, power. There's just power. You know what energy is? You can't see energy, can't taste energy. The sense has nothing to do with it. It's just power. It's power, force. It's force field, like magnetism. Not the magnets, those are physical. But magnetism is a power. You got it? Everyone understands E equals MC squared. But they don't understand what the heck that man figured out. What E equals MC squared means is there's no matter. It's really energy. And not just that all what you see as matter is really just energy, but I'll tell you how much energy there is in every single part of a matter. E equals MC squared. So it's really telling you, it's not a formula for building an atomic bomb. I mean, it is. But it's a formula for telling you nothing's out there. It's not out there the way you see it. All out there, and these are scientists talking to you, not spiritualists, not alchemists. Your scientists are telling you what is out there in this world, and therefore what it was created from, is a force field, not matter. There is no matter. Energy is matter, and matter is energy, and the difference is just a temporary state. Those were Einstein's exact words. Do you understand how important that is? Yogis, and I'll tell you how they knew this thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, said that. Well, there's nothing out there. There's Chit Shakti. It's the word they use. They use the word energy. Chit Shakti. Literally, go back to the Upanishads. Thousands and thousands of years ago, way before any of these scientists, anything. And what you will see is it will tell you that the universe is made of Chit Shakti. All right, what is that? Conscious energy. Conscious energy. Not consciousness and energy. Conscious energy. Chit Shakti. The force field that is creating this is just as aware of itself as you are aware of yourself. Now you have the creator. You understand that, all right? So they've gone down to the energy. Well, what about, they went past Einstein into quantum physics. What's quantum physics? It says, well, these electrons, neutrons, and protons, really quantum physics studies, how does it go from energy to matter? Fair enough, right? We're scientists, we don't accept anything, right? So yes, we understand now E equals MC squared. How does it do that? How does that temporary state take place? Really, if you understand quantum physics, it's a good starting point if you think you know nothing, right? It literally went further down to say, how does it go from nothing to something? How does it go from an energy field to start to make itself into matter? And then you hear the words you've heard, right? That out of the energy field, these quarks and these particles, subatomic particles pop out. Quarks, leptons, bosons. They pop out of the field, and then laws, the four fundamental force, put them together, and they end up making electron, neutron, proton, which makes atoms, which makes you guys. So everyone now, Chinese scientists, Russian scientists, American scientists, everyone, all of them, all agree. It's called the standard model of physics, that there's nothing down there but an energy field. And magically out of that energy field emits creation. And that's exactly what the Upanishads said. That God at the same time, Brahman at the same time, is manifest and unmanifest at the same time. Well, that is exactly what your scientists are saying. Unmanifest meaning formless. You understand that? That's like, literally, if you go back to the Upanishads and study Brahma, the creator of creation, as they put it, the main characteristic they will say it is formless, without differentiation, without qualities. And from this, everything is emitted. So Chit Shakti eventually, maybe, they've gotten down to energy. That's pretty far down, isn't it? They've gotten down to the fact that there's one undifferentiated energy field, not here, throughout the universe. And that's what the universe is made of. Einstein's time-space continuum is made of this undifferentiated energy field. And out of it comes form. So I don't know why you play on with form, because it came out of this field. What they may never come to is to understand that, well, they're looking at it, it's looking at them. So if it's not good to try to have your mind contemplate or conceive that which is beyond your mind, but you came very close. If you want to use the word God, just go down to the quantum field. There, you can do that. You're scientists. I'm not believing anything now. There it is, throughout the whole universe, evenly throughout the whole universe. Go to the farthest stretches of the galaxies. They're all made out of the quantum field. They're not saying just here, right? It's equal everywhere throughout the entire universe as we know it, right? Then just understand what the great yogis say is, Einstein said, energy is matter and matter is energy. Difference is a temporary state. What yoga way back thousands of years ago said is consciousness is energy and energy is consciousness, and the difference is just a temporary state. So you want to contemplate God? Have fun. See the difference? All right? So the key is you already understand the universality of energy. Just awareness of being is the magic of consciousness. If the whole universe were here, but there was no consciousness, it would be meaningless. Nothing would be aware that it was here. Awareness is the most amazing thing in the world, isn't it? All right? It's that which knows that it knows that it knows. How did the yogis know this? They didn't have the electron microscopes and giant cyclotrons and colliders, super colliders that we built, right, where we can watch this stuff. How in the world would they have known that there was nothing? Do you know, if you go back to the cosmology as it exists today, as NASA teaches it and the great scientists teach it, where the universe came from, they will literally say to you that in the beginning, before the Big Bang, the entire universe, all the matter within the universe, fit within the size of an atom, within the size of an atom, they say. The whole thing. You go back to the Upanishads, they say it fit within the size of a sesame seed. Now, where in the world would they get that concept? Okay? That is so close. Because you are conscious, and they were conscious. And if you return to the source of your consciousness, which is what we will discuss today, but I never talk about this at this level, but let's lay it out. You should at least have the understanding of what's being said, all right? So if you return to the seat of your consciousness, since you are conscious, and explore the nature of consciousness, guess what you're going to find out? That the source of your being is the exact same consciousness that is creating and has created the entire universe. That there's only one consciousness, and that is the consciousness that is looking out through your awareness. And so awareness is awareness, like dropping you drop a drop of water into the ocean. Find it. Come on, find it. You can't. It's of the same essence. So the great ones, the great masters, the great ones, the truly great, a lot of people run around and talk about their masters of something. I'm talking about, even people use the word enlightened beings. I beg you all to never use it. Do you understand that? If you want to say I had an enlightening experience, you're welcome to say I had an enlightening experience. But don't you dare ever say you're an enlightened being. Why? When that drop falls into the water and it is never to be found again, that's an enlightened being. That's what Christ meant when he said, my Father and I are one. My Father and I are one. There's a paragraph at the end of James in the Bible, I'm not quoting the Bible, where he's praying to God. It's before they take him away, and he said, may they know the magic of oneness as I have known the oneness in thee. May they be one in me as I am one in thee. He uses oneness about 8 times. That's the merger. That's where Buddha went. That's nirvana. That's where the great mystic Sufis went of the Muslim tradition, Islam. And that's where the Kabbalah speaks of. All the great traditions actually have their foundation in the fact that man is created in the image of God. And because of that, you are capable of experiencing way more than what you're capable of thinking about. So again, I sort of asked you, how did the yogis write this? Where did that come from? All right? Because when you return to the source of your being, you're returning to the source of all being. You're returning to the source itself. That's why the Buddhists capitalize the word S when they write source. I love when people come to me and people teach that Zen is atheistic and agnostic and so on. It is not. Even Zen people say it is. No, it's not. You understand that? The fact that they don't use the word God is for the same reason that ancient rebbes of the Jewish tradition that studied the Kabbalah and went deep wouldn't write the word God. They'd write G_D. It was blasphemous. You're not even allowed to. In fact, they wouldn't even say the word God. They made up names for God that have nothing to do with God so that they weren't saying the name of God, like Hashem. If you study the tradition, it's so beautiful to see it because they knew they could not understand that which is beyond them, right? And they didn't want to belittle it by bringing it down to the human mind. That's exactly what Zen does. It says, don't think about it. Don't you dare go into your mind and try to think about what's beyond your mind. To use it, there's a line in the third Zen patriarch, to use the discriminating mind, to understand the undifferentiated mind is the greatest folly. That doesn't mean you don't understand there's something beyond. It's just you're not bringing the beyond down to you. You're going to the beyond. So most of you will never study any of these traditions, but if you do, keep in mind what I just told you, right? And if you never see the word God in Zen, it doesn't mean it's atheistic, right? Where they end up is the same nirvana, is the same Christ heaven, is the same oneness. Not that they normally do. It's a very rare state. Do you understand that? It's a very rare state that total merger takes place and remains. In Zen, they make a differentiation. They call it satori. That means you have a momentary experience. They have momentary experiences, all right? The great ones, it's a permanent state of being. Christ didn't come and go. Buddha didn't come and go. The great masters didn't come and go. Meher Baba said, the first time I fell into that state, it was like a drop of water falling into the ocean. You want to study great masters? Study Meher Baba. But the net result is, we're discussing the fact that the foundation of you, and we're going to talk all about you. The foundation of you is the same as the foundation of the universe. It's very deep. That's why the great ones, the great yogis, the Upanishads, the Vedas, the different great teachings were able to teach what they taught because they went there and they just described the merger. Yoga means union. Did you know that? Yoga doesn't mean asanas. Yoga doesn't mean meditation. Yoga doesn't mean gurus. The word yoga in Sanskrit means union. Exactly the union we just talked about. That is the entire pinnacle and purpose of yoga. All right? Is how, for your consciousness, the individual consciousness, they call it the Atman, can return to Paramatman. There's all these mystical words. You hear me? All right? The individual soul into the oversoul. Right? Don't get weird about it. It merely means there is only one consciousness. So why don't I feel that? Now let's go there. That's what I discuss with you all the time, and I don't usually lay this groundwork for you. Why don't I feel that? I don't feel the oneness with the whole universe, all right? Why do I feel what I feel? Yes, I'm in here. I am aware that I'm here. I certainly feel that. There's no question I'm in here. Because you who are conscious, there's a quality of consciousness, which is, it is conscious. Of what? That's the key. You're conscious of what? Your consciousness is capable of being aware of something, isn't it? There's consciousness, there's an object of consciousness. If you hold your hand in front of your face, you are now aware of your hand. If you take it down, you're aware of something else. You're aware of whatever your consciousness is focused on. Pretty straightforward, right? You see what you see. You hear what you hear. Whatever comes into your consciousness becomes aware of. Very good. That's perfectly normal. What's happening is consciousness has the ability to focus, to pay attention. All these words we use. I got distracted. I'm paying attention. What does that mean, I'm paying attention? I am bringing my consciousness to focus on a given thing. I was paying attention to what she was saying. What does it mean? I wasn't conscious of anything else. I was focusing. Yes, can you focus your awareness and consciousness? That's paying attention. I got distracted. What does that mean? Well, I was paying attention, but some other object of consciousness caught my attention, and therefore my attention went over there. Did I describe distracted well for you? We all have ADD. We get distracted. All of these words are very spiritual. We're just not aware of who we are, therefore not paying attention to what it's like to be us. I'm going to talk for the rest of the time about what it's like to be you. I don't even know you. It doesn't matter. I know you. I know you. It is exactly the same for all of us. All we're doing is getting distracted by different things. All we're doing is being conscious of different things. But the act of the fact that our consciousness is aware of something, that's the same for all of us. The act of the fact that the consciousness can concentrate on something one-pointed focus of consciousness, what does that mean? Nothing. It just means me, the aware being, is only aware of one object. I've focused my consciousness and my attention on a single object, and I don't take it off. All right? So what's our normal state? Our normal state is we are always conscious. Do you understand that? You are always conscious of something. When you're knocked unconscious, you come back and tell me what it was like in there. Oh my God, I started getting dizzy and then I saw this light, right? I went to this tunnel and I went, oh, well, very interesting. Who did? Me. Is it the same you? Yeah, there's just one of you. Can we discuss that? There's just one of you in there. When you go to sleep, do you dream? Sometimes you dream. Was that you? Was it you who saw your dream? You, right there. Hi, you in there? Did you see your dream? Yes. You woke up and you said, I dreamt. How do you know? Because I'm the one who experienced it. You could go to sleep and be a different gender. You could be, a man's a woman, a woman's a man. You could be old, you could be young, you could be dead. I died in my dream. What are you doing back here? How can you tell me about it? It was unbelievable. You mean you actually know what it was like to die? You had the experience? Yes. Who did? You did. The same exact you that's looking through these eyes had that experience. Did you not? You're in there. You're always conscious. So the question doesn't become, are you conscious? You are conscious. What are you conscious of? And what you're going to see is that the reason it gets so confusing is that there are a number of objects that you are conscious of. There is this world out there. It keeps moving and changing and shifting around. You are conscious of the part that's in front of you. It draws your attention, doesn't it? Basically, your consciousness gets pulled, your attention, I started this conversation by saying it's all about consciousness. I just showed you, although you don't know it yet, but you will someday perhaps, hopefully, that the whole universe is about consciousness, all right? When I say it's all about consciousness, that's a big all. Now I'm saying your entire life is about consciousness, isn't it? Let's say make that statement. Your entire life is about consciousness. Something you are not conscious of has absolutely no influence on your life. If you were never conscious of it in any way, shape, or form, I'm telling you, it had no influence on your life. And that which you were the most conscious of, that you paid full attention to, had the most influence on your life. Because you are the consciousness. So unless it is coming into your consciousness, to your awareness, it's meaningless. Therefore, consciousness is everything. And no one will talk to you like this. You go to school, they don't even use the word consciousness. It's just hilarious. All they're doing is teaching you the objects. They teach you about the world. They teach you about your mind. They teach you about your emotions. Fine. Those are things you are conscious of. Who am I? Who am I who is conscious of these things? And so what you're going to find out is that you're in there. You already know that. And there's a world passing in front of you, and you are conscious of it. Very good. And there is also a mind inside of you, not outside, inside. And it has lots of thoughts, doesn't it? And you're conscious of those. How many of you are conscious of your thoughts? You are conscious of your thoughts. Is it the same awareness of being who, when you look out through your eyes, you see what's there, you see it. When you dream, you see your dream, that knows that you're having thoughts. You can have them simultaneously. You probably are right now. You're listening to me, you're looking outside, and you're disagreeing. I mean, you're agreeing or disagreeing and thinking about what maybe you go somewhere later. And, oh, I know you guys. I got your number. It is the same consciousness that is aware of all of this. And then the thoughts go about their business. I differentiate thoughts from emotions. I hope you do too. I hope you're conscious enough to differentiate thoughts from emotions, right? Well, I'm telling you, I'm really weird. I differentiate sight from sound and taste from hearing. How about you? I mean, they all come back in here eventually, but they're coming in through different portals. They're different. They're quite different. One's coming through the eyes and through the ears, through the tongue. They all come back to my consciousness. They all drop into, I'm aware of them, but they are different, are they not? Well, thoughts and emotions are more different than sight and sound. And I mean way more different. Thoughts talk to you. You should have said that. You know, oh my God, I can't believe you said, oh, what does he like? No, don't talk, don't call him. No, you'll be embarrassed. Don't do it. Don't get it. Anybody got any of those going on in there? They talk to you. They're thoughts. What you tend to think about is thoughts are, let's see, 15 times 3, but that, thoughts are things you create. Yes, you do. Let's call those voluntary thoughts, willful thoughts. Or should I take this road? No, let's see. This one's like, Jewel says this is 2.2 miles. How do I get over to that website? All right, come over. Those are thoughts. Those are what we call intellectual thoughts. Those are analytical thoughts. Those are you thinking. Those are you, your willful being inside, wanting to know something. And so you went to the computer and you typed something in, and the computer reacted and responded to a question you asked, to something you did, right? Then there's the time that you left the computer because you're busy doing something else, but the computer kept computing, right? Those are the involuntary thoughts, the personal thoughts, the ones that, as I just told you, I shouldn't have said that, I can't believe I did. And then it's talking about something that happened 10 years ago. If only I had not done that, oh my God, it'd be so different now. Doing that. And you're trying to drive the car, have a relationship or something, right? You're in an intimate, beautiful moment with somebody, and they're telling you how much they love you. And instead of feeling it or being there with it, your mind is saying, I'm going to get back. I got so hurt last time when Paul did that to me. No way. No. Yes or no? Anybody got that going on there? All right. That's when your mind is creating thoughts by itself. The other is when you're creating the thoughts willfully. You do both, don't you? So if I could get in there and measure every thought that gets created in your mind, what percentage are the ones you made it say versus the ones it's saying to you by itself? Who wants to take a guess at that? That's right. It better have a 9 in front of it. I mean, I'm not sure as whether it's 95 or 97 or 99.9, but it's in the 90s, okay? You don't stay. There's no way you're sitting there willfully thinking these things. Right, watch this. I'm willfully going to make myself so sick that I get ulcers. Why'd she leave me? I can't believe she left me. This is 12 years ago you've been doing this, right? What did I do? She didn't tell me, and she died. And she died before she could tell me. And you're doing that purposely, are you? There's no way you're doing that purposely. That is not a willful act. That is a broken mind. I'm telling you, you have to wake up and realize there is a mind in there. And you are conscious of every one of those thoughts. Very good. So now you're conscious of the outside world. You're conscious of these thoughts. And I told you, thoughts and emotions are totally different things. You're very good with thoughts. I'm proud of you. You saw they talk to you, don't they? You could also, visualization is a thought. When I analyzed it back in my original book, The Search for Truth, back I wrote in 75 or something, right? Because I was meditating 6 hours a day then. I just watched this, all right? And there were 2 ways your mind communicated to you. Really, your mind is communicating to you. You're the end user, aren't you? The mind doesn't use itself. You receive the messages from your mind, right? So it's like a computer. And it does it through voice, that voice in your head, and it does it through visualization. See a boat. Can you see it? Bigger. Queen Mary. There. Your mind has the ability to express itself verbally, vocally, and has the ability to express itself with graphics. It has the ability to create a graphic image, does it not? Right? You should see your mind as a computer. And so it has an LED flat screen in there, and it can create images, can't it? All right? And it does. And sometimes when it's talking, it creates the image. That's more right brain, left brain. That's how we talk about that. Whether your mind works more in analytical, verbal type situation, or your mind works more in the visual, artistic, that's what we mean left brain, right brain. It's just a mind. Okay, and it has the ability to express itself in these different ways. It's meaningless. What's meaningful is you. If you were not in there and the mind was doing this, who cares? There's nobody receiving it. Consciousness is the end user of all of this. It is what sees what's going on outside. It is what sees what's going on inside. So if the mind is verbal and visual, what are emotions? Feeling. That's why we call them feelings. When you say to somebody, my emotions are bothering me, it's the same as saying my feelings are bothering me. He hurt my feelings. I mean, he hurt your feelings. Where are your feelings? All right? Your feelings are vibrations. They are not thoughts. They are not either visual or verbal thoughts. They are, all I can call is vibrations, like music. Music itself with no lyrics is very different than poetry or reading a book. It's a vibration that comes in and you feel the vibration. You don't think it. They can be simultaneous. Usually they are. Usually you think something, you start to feel it. I remember what he did to me. Well, the emotions start, don't they? Or sometimes you feel something, this beautiful vibration. What's going on? Why do I feel so good? If I start thinking about it, doesn't it? Have I got your number? I told you I had your number, didn't I? All right? I know. Is there something I know what it's like to live in there. You should know what it's like to live in there. The problem is it's overwhelming, isn't it? For a being who is not working on themselves, I want to call it spirituality, call it meditation, call it whatever you want. I call it working on yourself. That the consciousness has awakened, is aware that it's aware that it's aware, and it is aware that there are these objects coming in to it, distracting it. The outside world, the mind, the mental panorama, and the emotional. Those things are very distracting. Okay? Try to do some math when your boyfriend just dumped you. See how well it works. Decide that you have something very important to do. It's a TV show you want to watch, you want to watch it, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and the phone rings. Let's see you not answer it. Because you don't get calls at 2, so it's got to be something. You hear me? It will distract your attention to where you do not stand one chance of being able to ignore that message that's coming into your consciousness. So what's happening is our consciousness is getting pulled by all these different objects. That's like, if you get this, you're almost there. That's all that's happening, is a world is unfolding in front of you. A mental panorama is happening inside of you. We can explain where it comes from and why it does. I've talked about it before. Right now, you just know it's there, all right? And it's doing its thing. And then these emotions are being stirred up, aren't they? And something from the outside world, you are to see your mind as a computer. You're to see your emotions as a lake. I literally almost cry when I talk to you this way. Because I beg that you pay attention, right? What do you mean a lake? It can be still, at peace, serene, calm, content. Therefore, it does not distract your consciousness. Therefore, your consciousness is able to remain in the seat of self. Now, you understand what seat of self means. Oh, that's a big Buddhist word or something, right? What is the seat of self? You, where you're conscious from. How's that? The other is what you're conscious of. You're in there somewhere, aren't you? Where? In the seat of self. Okay? You are sitting on the couch watching the TV show. The TV show has pulled your consciousness away from the couch and into the TV, correct? You're still sitting on the couch. So if I'm talking to you, all of a sudden the master of ceremonies inside the TV. First I'm saying, here's Beyonce, and they're coming here, and this is happening, and all of a sudden I say, hey, you on the couch. At first you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to start talking to you. But the thing, do you see me? Yeah. Where do you see me from? There is a place you're seeing him from, isn't there? You're sitting on the couch watching the TV, but you forgot completely because you're absorbed in the TV. You are sitting on the inner couch, the seat of self, the awareness of being, watching the thoughts, feeling the emotions, and being aware of this outer panorama, the movie outside that's passing before you. You are so lost in those three. The combination, you can be lost in any one. An emotion can get so strong that you never come back. That you become so fixated, you become catatonic, that some child sees some terrible thing happen to their parents, something like that, right? They don't come back. They are lost in that emotion. All of their consciousness is pulled into that. You can get so lost in the depressed mind that you don't come back. You're going about your business, everything's fine, somebody dies, something happens, somebody dumps you. 5 years later, where are you? Where's that joyful bubbly person. Where's my friend? Oh, there's nothing. It's just a thought pattern. It's just a place inside. One of many places inside. The place that you used to be is still there, but you're not paying attention to it. You're paying attention to this particular vibration of emotion or of thought patterns. Don't you get lost in your thoughts? Better watch which ones you're getting lost in. I am telling you, you're happily married, you're having a wonderful relationship, and all of a sudden you watch a movie about somebody that was having a wonderful relationship and then met their soulmate, and it wasn't the one they were married to, but they never thought about that before, and all of a sudden their life blossomed into something much more beautiful. Careful. Careful. Don't watch that movie. Okay? Because your mind will start to think, won't it? And say, well, what if that's true of me? Well, how will I know? I was happy. I thought I was happy. Come on. Who's willing to admit it? Those thoughts are dangerous. They got to have a skull and crossbone on them, all right? You can get lost in your thoughts, can't you? Where are they going to take you? Guess what? I learned a long time ago, I don't want to be around to find out. I ain't going on that ride. Okay? They're just thoughts. So the consciousness, the seat of consciousness, is where you're watching from. That's all I can tell you. Now we'll talk about what that means practically in terms of your growth. But you are watching from somewheres. If you're looking at me, you're back in there behind those eyes, aren't you? You're back in there taking me in. Or being distracted by your thoughts so you're not taking me in. Ever read a book and turn a few pages and realize not one single word went into your consciousness? There, that's the ultimate example. What does that mean? Your consciousness was there. I told you, you're always conscious. Your consciousness is there. The book is there. And the words are actually being read inside your mind. But you're feeling something or thinking something else. And so therefore, none of it got to your consciousness. And if it didn't get to your consciousness, it might as well not be there. Do you see that? You are your consciousness. You are not your mind. You are not your emotions. You are not the outside objects of your world. You are the one that's experiencing those. Is that a true statement or not? You are the one that's experiencing them. That is what is called self-realization. That is what it means to wake up and realize who you are. You are not your car. That's why you call it your car. I want to know whose car. This is my handbag. Whose? My thoughts are bothering me. Whose? God, my emotions are just whose? Notice how you use the possessive pronoun every single time. It's my car, my house, who's got my shirt? She's wearing my shirt. You are the indwelling being. You are the consciousness. What you mean intuitively every time you say that is, I'm in here and I have a relationship with that handbag that somebody just took, or with that shirt that somebody's wearing, or with that car that I'm looking for. What about this car? No, I got no relationship with that one. That's not mine. Oh, it's so beautiful. I told you I know what it's like to live in there, didn't I? Okay? You need to know what it's like to live in there. This is what it means to wake up and grow spiritually. So you're in there being distracted, and I'm going to see why I say that. You're being distracted by either your visual or verbal thoughts, I didn't finish, by the way, your vibrations of your heart, your emotion. What does that mean? I said it was a lake. If the lake is still and quiet, then you're at peace. You feel peace. When you're at peace, you're not being distracted by anything. So you tend to drift back to the seat of self. All right? If you're watching TV and you're completely lost and the children are crying, you're watching your soaps, right? And all the world's falling apart, the washing machine's flowing over and the kids are crying, right? And you're still there, there's nothing, you've done nothing. If all of a sudden the broadcast ceases and you get this blank screen, what happens? You start hearing things. Why? Because your consciousness is no longer distracted by an object that can't distract your consciousness. It was neutral. It was calm. Therefore, you are able to pick up other objects. When your emotions are calm, when the lake becomes still, it doesn't capture your consciousness. That's called peace. The peace that passeth all understanding. And because it didn't capture your consciousness, where does your consciousness go when it's not being pulled to something else? It naturally returns to the seat. Here, the TV has sucked you into it. right? You're fully aware of it. How long does it take from the time I turn the TV off till you realize you're sitting on a couch and we're watching TV? That's why they say that's what enlightenment takes. It doesn't take years, doesn't take lifetimes. It takes exactly the amount of time that it took for you to return to the couch when you stopped being pulled into the TV. It's instantaneous, isn't it? Because your consciousness never left the couch. It just projected itself out into the TV. You never left the seat of self. This is everything I'm trying to talk to you about right here. You never left the seat of self. You are the seat of self. And remember in the beginning what I said the seat of self really was? Ooh, you left something very special. You left the seat of self because you became distracted and involved your consciousness in something other than yourself, in the TV, or in the emotions, or in the thoughts, or in the form that's unfolding in front of you. The fact that you have all three going at the same time, and they're a conspiracy, they tend to agree with each other. Something unfolds outside, your mind starts to talk about it, your emotions start to feel about it. You don't stand a chance. You understand that? You completely forget surround sound. This is bigger than surround sound, isn't it? It's surround sound plus it took your thoughts, plus it took your emotions, and are all sucked into the same thing. Goodbye. Bye-bye. So you come down and realize, I was talking about the lake. Why did I call it a lake? And it isn't exactly a lake. Because I just described emotions when they're calm, when you're at peace. All I have to do is drop a rock, anything, into that lake. And what happens? Commotion starts, doesn't it? Vibrations start. Ripples start. That's what your emotions are. That's all your emotions are. Something dropped into the lake that was calm, the heart lake, and it caused ripples. That ripple could be fear, that ripple could be insecurity, the ripple could be self-consciousness, it could be embarrassment, whatever it is. But when this stuff drops in, it causes commotion, doesn't it? It causes stuff. That's what you're feeling, is those ripples. Isn't that beautiful? All right? That's what your emotions are. So your mind is a computer that can do graphics and verbal, okay? You've got speech capability, speech, right? And your heart, because your emotions come from your heart is a lake, water, lake, and things fall into it. What falls into it? The world can come in through your senses and drop directly into that lake and cause a vibration, can't it? Okay? Your thoughts can just start to create a thought. Like, let's say you see a rope outside, and your reaction is a snake. Your emotions go like that, don't they? You could just be walking around doing nothing. Dream of snake. Just create a thought. Emotions do the exact same thing. These things are dropping into the lake of your emotions, creating ripples, and then your consciousness is being involved in them. Does your consciousness tend to get involved in your emotions? That's funny. Very strong. Your consciousness gets involved in your thoughts, and your thoughts and emotions are driven by what's unfolding in the world in front of you. I guarantee if you watch it, anything, somebody walks in front of you, your mind says, I don't know him, I wonder what he's like. Well, why did you have a thought? All right? Car drives by. I used to have one like that. I remember every single thing that passes in front of you makes your thoughts start, which sometimes starts your emotions. So now you're just completely lost in that. So what spirituality is about, now that you have your groundwork, is returning to the seat of self, consciousness. That's all it's about. It's not about all this stuff of renunciation. Oh, don't go there. I wish you could just skip everything. All the things are about, now that you know you're in there, and you know that you are distracted by the thoughts, the emotions, and the unfolding of the world and how it affects your thoughts and emotions, you just go through your entire life lost. You're lost. You're lost in that. You're reacting to it. What's happening is you're drowning in there. How's that? You're drowning in there. It's not comfortable in there. Anything makes these emotions go, and this happens, and the thoughts go, and they bother me, and I can't fall asleep, and I'm worried about this, right or wrong, and then the emotions go strong, and I don't even know what to worry about next. I have so many worries. Right? Then I got to try and figure out what will be okay, and how do I get it, and how do I make it happen, and why won't the world behave and be the way I need it to be, and what's going to happen, and oh my God, it's maniacal in there. And when it's that bad in there and you're drowning in there, you're struggling to keep your head above the water, of course you don't know who you are. You're too busy not drowning. And that's how almost every single human being lives their life, and has always lived their life, trying to survive. It just becomes survival instinct. Right? Can I survive this relationship? Can I survive this finances? Can I survive this situation? Can I survive the fact that these people are talking about me? Can I survive the fact that they wrote an article in the paper about me? Oh my God, what are people going to think? But it's complete menagerie Okay. Yoga, true spirituality, it's about something very simple. Hi, you in there? If you can come back to who you are, because you are consciousness. None of those objects of consciousness have anything to do with you. Not a single thought that has anything more to do with you than any other thought. Do you know that? There's not a single thought you have or will ever have that is more you than any other thought. Just like if I hold flashcards in front of you, they're different colors. There's not one of them that's more you than another. They're all flashcards. There's not a single emotion you ever had, not repulsion, not attraction, nothing, not a single emotion you ever had that is more you than any other emotion. Just like there's no TV show that's on that TV that's more you than any other TV show. They're just TV shows. You're the one who's watching them. So no form, no thoughts, no emotions have anything to do with you, except that they distract you so that you put your consciousness on them. If you return to the nature of self, to the seat of self, that's why in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he talks about concentration, this and that, then he defines meditation. Meditation is to take complete concentration and concentrate on the seat of self. Concentrate on consciousness itself. To contemplate consciousness. I don't want to say it because then the mind thinks about it. But literally what they're saying is to return the consciousness to its seat so it's not going out paying attention to all these different objects. You then know the nature of consciousness. And the nature of consciousness, I told you what that was. I don't ever do it, but I did it in the beginning. That's a pretty big thing, that's the nature of consciousness. Meher Baba said the following: man minus mind equals God. In other words, if you are not being distracted by your mind, then you're not being distracted. And you return to the nature of your being, your Buddha nature. I can combine all the religions, traditions together now. You understand that, all right? That is your Buddha nature, the nature of your being. So they're talking about, if you return to that nature, you're going to find out the source of your consciousness is the source of creation, is the source of the universe. Again, when they asked Christ, they asked him, this kingdom, you talk about this kingdom where there's peace beyond all understanding, where you can be one with God and you can, et cetera, et cetera. Where is this kingdom? He said, the kingdom is within you. Ah, literally. It's within. Hi, you in there? It's within you. That's the exact same thing Buddha said, isn't it? All of them said the same thing, the great ones, right? What you are, you, the awareness of being, consciousness itself, is the essence of creation, is the essence of the universe. It is universal, and you can merge with that. There's a chapter in the Autobiography of a Yogi called My Experience in Cosmic Consciousness. If you don't read the book, you should at least read that. And he just describes, my consciousness and awareness of being used to be inside of a limited body. Now the galaxies are my body. I feel myself expanding out at the speed of light in all directions. My Father and I are one. All right? So we went a long way today, didn't we? Okay? That is what yoga is to return to the source. And to return to the source of your being happens to return to the source of all being. And that's again, I'm going to stop with this one. Right? Not only, I called it Chit Shakti. That is the nature of your being. Chit Shakti. Conscious energy. You are conscious and you have power in there, don't you? You can create thoughts. You can do all kinds of things. You're a very powerful being. Your will, that's your will. Chit Shakti. Consciousness is power. When you come back to that seat, as you even come close to it, it's like returning to the sun. What happens when you start to get closer to the sun? It gets hot. Closer, hotter, right? As you get closer to the source of being, you are getting closer to the nature of God. You are literally getting closer to what is the nature of what was there before all else. This conscious, this energy that's aware of its being. What's it like? In yoga, we have a name for God. It's called Sat Chit Ananda. It means eternal, conscious ecstasy. That's the nature of what's there. Reveling in the ecstasy of its own being. It's not like nothing. It's everything. And they will teach you that it was that ecstatic state that wanted to express itself and created the whole universe as different aspects of its being. All right? You are something very, very great. And as you get closer to the seat of self, you will feel that joy. You will start to feel happier. First you'll say, I'm happier than I used to be. I feel more joy. I feel more love. That's right, because you're getting closer to the sun, right? And at some point, when you let go of yourself enough, literally, when you stop listening to your mind, it doesn't have to stop talking. You just have to stop listening. You learn not to pay attention to all that garbage. You don't ply into that. Now you will not feel happiness and love. You will start to describe it as, I feel this joy, these waves of ecstasy, of joy keep overwhelming me. I'm trying to eat, and all this love and joy are welling over. Next time I come back an hour later and I'm just filled. There's no sit-down meditation. It's just spontaneous states that overcome you throughout your entire day. More and more, all right? You are returning to the source of self, which is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. You're going to understand there's a river of joy that flows inside of you. Find it, go there, get in, and drown. Jai Krishna.